Well, this is what I did today. See this? I don't normally till. My preferred method of gardening is the no-till method, where you just lay down cardboard and top it with compost and make holes and plant directly into that. But this year, I wanted to grow a really big field of corn this past spring. So I decided to go ahead and till all this area. I tilled all of that and I filled it with corn seeds and just rows and rows. And this is what happened. Weeds just overtook it and I couldn't keep up with it. The ground was so hard even after tilling, and it would rain and it would compact the ground. And I got zero corn, not a single corn out of it. Nothing. There's still a little bit of stalks growing up right there, but it never made anything. So I decided that's not going to work for me. And so I decided to do cover crops. And so I read the other day that milo is really good for mulch, that it makes a good straw. Straw usually comes from wheat, but apparently milo can make some good mulch straw. And it's planted in midsummer, apparently. It might be too late, I'm not sure. It's 2 days away from being August right now, and it's like 99 to 103 degrees every day. So we'll just see. I'm going to give it a try. But I just tilled with my tractor all of this. I have no idea how big that is. I'm not even going to guess. I don't know. Anyway, so I tilled that. I broadcasted my seed for milo and tilled it in. And so yeah, I'm going to grow milo. Even if it doesn't produce anything and it just gives me straw, that'd be awesome, because then that would be mulch to suppress weeds. And I think it's supposed to be a really quick cover crop. So if it produces quick enough and I can cut it down quick enough, or harvest if I get any grains from it, that'd be cool. Because milo is like a cereal, apparently. But if I can get it down quick enough, then I might broadcast some oats, maybe peas and oats. I'm not sure. But I could grow some oats in there, and I believe that, I'm not sure if that adds nitrogen. Peas add nitrogen. I could put peas in there. Anyway, I just want something, a cover crop, to keep water from washing away, to suppress weeds, and to keep the ground loose and fluffy for when I plant corn. And hopefully I won't deal with weeds next year. Maybe I'll have straw from the milo to use for the weeds as my corn is growing. We'll see. If any of you have had experience with milo cover cropping or any kind of cover cropping and you have any input on this, I would love to hear, because I'm brand new at cover cropping, but I think it's the way to go if you're wanting to do a really big field of something. In the garden, no-till gardening is amazing, incredible. But on a large scale, I think cover cropping is going to have to be the way to go. Anyway, besides that, I thought I'd also kind of show you around the garden and show you what's going on right now when it's 2 days away from being August. This is the hottest summer I've experienced here. We've been here for 4 years now, and it's been quite miserable, although I've still been out working outside. But anyway, as you can see, I have my little greenhouse right there. I have put a shade cloth over my main garden, and it helps tremendously. If you're in this drought, dealing with no rain, extreme heat, I highly recommend a shade cloth. Everything's still growing great under it, but it's keeping the water from evaporating so quickly, and it's keeping things a little bit cooler. It's not stressed. My plants aren't stressed out, and things are doing really good under it, at least as far as staying alive and still growing. I've not been able to sprout anything under it. Like, things will sprout, but then they die pretty quick, so they're still, young seedlings aren't good under it, but established things are doing great. But I highly recommend a shade cloth. Over here I have a peach tree, and you can't see it, but I've got a little tiny fig tree there and in the back, and I've got actually my peach tree is over here, And this tall one is my elderberry bush. And I've got, I'm going to be doing more cuttings of that pretty soon, hopefully this fall. High tunnel is doing fine. It's under a drip system and shade cloth, and so that helps. It's just full of weeds right now, and it's too hot for me to go and work in there. So it's still growing stuff. My tomatoes have slowed down. I'm not getting a whole lot from those right now. The plants are still alive, so I'm going to keep them alive till fall, and I'm sure they'll give me lots of stuff. The weeds are crazy right now. This was full of weeds, and I got all those knocked down today. I've got all these weeds I need to take down. There was a giant, I forget what it's called, but it looks like an elderberry bush, but it's poisonous. Anyway, I got that taken down today. I really kind of wanted to leave it because it was shading my asparagus, which is right back here. And my asparagus has been doing really great this year because it's got so much shade. But I don't want those replanting in my garden, so I took it down. And now tomorrow I've got to work on that. These are my watermelon plants. I don't have any watermelons growing yet, but I planted it kind of late, so that's probably normal. These are my pumpkins that I planted the first week of July, and they're growing really great. I've got like half jack-o'-lanterns and half jack-be-littles, so that'll be fun. My sunflowers are dying, but I'm hoping to harvest some seeds out of them soon. And these are my black-eyed peas. I had green beans, bush green beans growing at the bottom. I got one harvest out of them, and the sun just killed them. It was brutal. But the black-eyed peas are doing great. My asparagus patch is doing great. I've got a lot of rabbit litter, like pine shavings and rabbit manure along the bottom as a mulch and a slow release fertilizer. And it seems like the asparagus really likes that. So that's cool. Let's turn back around. I did have, okay, so there's the pumpkins. Along this row, I had peas growing. It got too hot too soon, and my peas did not make. I had chamomile all along this trellis, and it did amazing this year. This is red Russian kale, and I've got blue curled kale. This is my Russian tarragon plant. It's huge. I've got some peppermint and oregano over there, some stevia, some radishes that are still alive. I'm waiting for them to flower. This is Bee Balm wild bergamot, and it has flowered. It flowered about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and it was gorgeous. Now it's just green, which is fun. These are rutabagas, and this is my strawberry patch. It was doing amazing, but I put rabbit litter on this side, and most of them have died. So I kind of think the urine in the rabbit litter maybe was too much for them. But I've still got some on this side, and they're doing all right. My cherry tree is surviving this year now that I've got it in the shade, so that's exciting. This year I've got a raspberry plant. What else do I have? I have anise hyssop plants down here, kind of growing along this trellis. I wasn't sure how big they got, so I just put them there. I pulled all my carrots out several weeks ago, so that's just empty. Okay, there's my pumpkins again, and so next to that, this is where I planted my tomatillos, and the weeds have just taken over, and I just can't even get in there. I've got to do something about that next time I plant. I need more mulch in there. I didn't have any mulch this time, and so that's the problem. So anyway, I have a really hard time growing tomatillos. The first year I got tons and tons and tons. Every year since, I've got pretty much none. So if you know how to grow tomatillos and you have some tips and tricks, let me know. This is my toothache plant. It's been doing great. I've been getting little flowers off of it a lot, several times a week. And then this is my lemongrass plant, and it should get really big by the end of the season. That is Chinese motherwort that I can't believe is still alive, even though the seeds are brown. This is dragon head balm, and it is amazing in tea. It's super, super lemony. And some celosia. Anyway, that's about all that's going on in my outdoor garden. Let me show you what I've been doing in my front yard. Oh, and I have a, not an acorn, a butternut squash plant growing here. And I planted it late, so it's still not producing yet, but hopefully it will pretty soon. And I'm trying to lay down more cardboard between my fence and my garden here so that it can be all just more planting space and walkway and not so much grass to have to take care of. Okay, this is a mess still, but here is my front yard. It's really strange because people pull up to the driveway on that backside and then they have to go up steps over here, and this is actually the front yard. It's kind of weird, but when we first moved in, there were bushes all along the front wall of my house, and we had a lot of leaking issues in the bedroom area because it's like half basement. And so we went through all kinds of stuff trying to figure out where the leaking was coming from and all that. So anyway, long story short, Andy pulled out the bushes. We didn't like them anyway. And so then I just had like a little rectangular row of dirt where I had a few flowers growing. But it was just kind of boring. And so I decided that I want a cottage garden, a cottage flower garden. And so I've been working on creating this just kind of circular, just, you know, pretty design instead of just straight across. And my little rose bush I planted in the spring. It doesn't have much in it yet because I've just been working in the ground. So this will be the walkway so I can go to my garden. But then this goes out like this. And then it goes around this area, which is hilled up. And I've got 4 o'clocks planted here. They've kind of died back a little bit from the heat. So hopefully they'll come back. And I planted some new ones. So anyway, I've been just, there's some yarrow planted there. I ordered some bulbs that should be here this fall. I pre-ordered them. So I'm going to plant a whole lot of bulbs here and some perennials, and then I can do some annuals in the spring, and hopefully I'll have just a whimsical, flowery cottage garden. It'd be really awesome. That's my dream flower garden, so I hope that turns out. And then this is my sad little magnolia tree. It died when we had that horrible snowmageddon winter. Well, it didn't die completely, but all the top died. I've got these little limbs still alive, and I'm just kind of like giving it hope that it'll someday be a big tree again. I may have to pull it out and do something else, but I don't know. I've got mums here, and they were all bloomed like a week ago, and the heat's kind of stressed them out. And then I've got, you can't really see it, but I've got some Maiden's pink ground cover started here. I'm thinking about taking out the, I don't know, brick things and doing more of this cutout to keep the grass out. Anyway, if you have any ideas of what I can do to make this area prettier, that'd be cool. I'm also going to do a flower area up here on this hill by my fence. Normally I grow morning glories along this fence, but they just really suffered this year. So hopefully next year they'll be better. Another thing I would really like to have out here in the front yard is like a little pond. I thought about maybe digging that up and putting a little pond right here. I don't know, maybe for like bees and pollinators. Maybe have a little fountain or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's weird for the very middle of the yard. how easy it would be to stay clean, or maybe I should do that. I don't know. I don't know if that's something I can do. Anyway, I'm going to have my rose bush climbing up here. I'm going to have a trellis of some sort there, and I'm going to have clematis trailing up this side. So that's my plan. If you have any other tips on how to make my house look nice, let me know. It's getting dark, so I've got to go. Thanks for spending time listening to me. Bye.